Yo. Oh shit, hold up. Oh, I should probably check out my cats real quick. See if you have enough food. I kind of feed him a little bit earlier today. Alright, we get it. We gooch. Ooh. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, evening, afternoon, peepos. What's up, what's up? You have a cat? No, the apartment cats. You know? Since the usual dude that usually feed him, the one that lives next to your room, that time he moved, and I noticed the cats never get feed by the other because I think he's the only cat guy in that hallway. I start feeding them for a while now. I even bought a new fucking bowl today. Fuck. Once in. I actually didn't get the slow feeder. I decided to just get the normal one. But it looks kind of cool. Look at these. I mean, it's normal, but it got compared to the normal bowl that I usually use. Hey, camera, wait. Oh, there we go. Boom. The fucking water thingy thing. I don't know. I don't know what you call this shit. Because the fucking ants keep, fucking the fucking thingy thing. You know what I mean? So the previous bowl that I get is just a normal bowl, and I notice if I leave it for like a fucking day, ants start getting into it, and I get this one instead of the slow feeder. So no more ants issue. Fuck yeah. Welcome. Pretty cool, mate. Pretty cool. It's pretty cheap as well, since it's just a plastic bowl. It's nothing fancy. I was really close to buying a really cool looking one. Oh, let me show you. I forget. I don't know if I still have it around. It's just a bowl with a bunch of paw pattern, and it looks pretty cute. Uh, almost going ham with it, man. There's this one, dude. Look at this. Look at this! So fucking cute, man. Oh my god. But I don't know. I don't know if I wanna get the glass one. Looks so fucking cute. I did put this on my wish list though. If I feel like I wanna get it. So fucking cute, man. That's some anime design, I know. Very anime. They even have like it tilted. Wait, look at this. They even like 0.15 degree angle can be rotated adjusted, provide a comfortable eating angle for pets. Oh shit! They thought of everything. The angle and shit, man. I don't know. That's a thing. Like, do pets actually get comfortable with just like eating directly? I don't fucking know. That's a good shit in my book. And the design looks fucking cool. Huh? All right, dude. It's crazy when you look around. There's some really cool looking uh food bowl for pets. I don't know. I like him. It's cute. Oh my man. Oh, Leo's frozen. Ba 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 ba. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Question is, are they necessary? If it looks cute, yes. That the cats also looks cuter. Yes. It's necessary, man. It's not that expensive either. It's just like $4. It looks quality. Although I don't know about the comfortable angle for the pets. I don't know if that's actually a thing or not. Maybe it is. I don't know. Need to do some research about that. It's not like, the cats be like, yo, what the fuck? This bowl's too low, bitch. Tilt it up for me. Fuck you. Feed me, bitch. I don't see them, I don't hear them complaining. Eh? The fuck? Yo, where's my food, bitch? Bro. My food. Asshole. I'm too busy fucking laying around here, bitch. Sounds realistic, huh? Yeah, I imagine if cats can talk, that's probably how they sound every fucking day. What fucking food? Where? Oh shit. Okay, I wanna do shadows for this one. And I will do some color for this one. Maybe. Shit. Okay. Huh? Huh? So how you guys doing? What's up, what's up? What you guys been up to this Saturday? Oh shit. Oh shit. Is it a busy weekend or is it a chill weekend? Just like not much going on kind of weekend. All good. How about you? I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I've been playing DBD earlier. Oh shit! Actually, I just bought DBD last night because my friends convinced me, and it's on sale. I was like, okay, fine. I'll check it out, I guess. You did? Yeah. Cause she also her main game is DBD and Apex, and I was like, and she was like, "Yo, let's we should play." And I only have Apex. I was like, "Okay, listen, yeah, you're all the way in NA or some shit or EU. If we play Apex, it's gonna be like a fucking chaos. It's not gonna work." I don't know about DBD. I mean, sure, it is kind of competitive game, but I feel like it's not gonna, the lag. It's not gonna be as much of an issue as Apex. I hope. I don't know. Is it though? I don't know. I'm not the DBD pro here. But well, I guess we'll check it out. I guess we'll check it out. It's way too dang. Oh, don't expect me to play a lot of it, eh? It's not really my style in terms of like game style. The asymmetric competitive. It's not really my forte. I'm gonna be honest. But I feel like we need some change of pace. Might as well give it a try, you know. You know. Oh my god, so cool. Fuck. You'll play a lot. Like I said, it depends. I don't know, who knows? Maybe I will end up liking it and play a lot of it, right? We'll see, we'll see. But it doesn't have like those stuff that usually makes me like a competitive game. Like the number one thing that really makes me play a lot of it is definitely first person aiming, first person shooter. That one singular genre can make me try any game as long as it's a first person shooter. I don't know. It's one of those things that I really, really, really like. Uh, hold up. Usually with DBD and especially Hun, people with higher ping even have the advantage because of how the hit res works. Hit res is hit res hitbox? I don't know what res is. It has some kokdo, so you gotta like it. What? You played Hundo? I used to, like way, way, way back, like early development. I don't know if it was in early access. It was like very brand new. Unfortunately, performance not that good. Especially back then. I don't know. Maybe it's good now, right? So I didn't really play much of it. But it was a good twist to the, quote unquote BR genre back then. Because I think when Hun's Showdown was out, I was still into PUBG. I pretty much still play PUBG a lot, so I was like, whoa, the new BR, let's check it out, you know. I was kind of like that. Oh, hit rags. Right. True. That would be annoying to people who's not lagging. I understand. I think that's a big issue in Rocket League at the time. I remember, like, holy shit. Because I used to play Rocket League competitively, and it's holy shit when you find the enemy that lags hard. You're the one who suffered, dude. Like, what the fuck? But I don't know. Maybe I should give Hun another try. I still saw some of my friends play it here and there, even though they don't play Hun every day. Like, not a daily gamer. Maybe I should give it a try. See what's up. But I do have to say, the slower pace of the game is not really my style either. Like, you know, it's still a shooter, like a semi BR with their own twists. Like, you know, the hunting monster shit, and then extract. It's like a mixture of BR and Tarkov, I guess, if I have to put it simply. It's good, but it's too slow for me. That's all. Problem is, in Hun, you can choose which servers you want to start matchmaking, so especially a lot of Russian and NA are exploiting that. Oh. Well, people are comparing it to EFT. Yeah, basically. It's like EFT fantasy with objective base. You don't just go in and scavenge. You go in, kill the monster, and extract with the fucking bounty. Which is cool, you know? It kind of really fits in with the lore of the game. So I kind of dig that, especially the fucking art style. Holy shit. When it came out for the first time, you know, like everyone knows that Crytek developed Crysis, and they just subtly, like, you know, Crysis is such a fucking sci-fi, machinery, cyborg, futuristic shit, and it just came out with a game that's like, you know, a little bit of horror, body horror, uh, fucking set in 100 years ago or some shit. You know, it's so fucking absurd back then. It's like, what the fuck? This is such a not something that you would expect from Crytek, but okay. They ended up getting really good. It's cool though. It means that Crytek likes to experiments with their shit. That's always a good thing as a developer. Because they don't try to play safe like Ubisoft and blah, blah, blah. It's always good to have a developer that always try new shit. I get it's too slow for some. There's the reason why I love it, because it's not spammy and high pace like Call of Duty, Battlefield, or others. True. Like, my favorite type of shooter is a Twitch shooters, I guess. Is a sub genre of the shooter game. For example, CS, Counter Strike, Valorant. Yeah, those two. I think it's just those two. There's a lot of them out there, but Counter Strike and Valorant is probably the only two Twitch shooters. Maybe Rainbow Six Siege, just a bit, because you know you can still insta kill. Basically, Twitch shooter is a shooter game where you can literally kill anyone in one bullet, like split second decision. And I'm a big fan of that. It's like, bada bing, bada bam. One tap, one tap. Pick the corner, one tap. Like those games that really relies on reaction and split second decision. I don't know. I like them so much. But I also dwell in other stuff. Thanks to Quake, I also fell in love with games that have high TTK or time to kill. Like for example, Apex. Not really good at the game, but I also dig it just because it feels like Quake. It's like high octane. You jump around, run around and shit. The combat's usually chaotic as fuck. Everyone just like jumps around, fucking bumps into each other. It's those type of shit. Kind of reminded me of Quake, so I kind of like Apex because of that. But apart from that, the slower pace shooter, like Huns or Tarkov, like you were not like Lucas and some other people who's not that long in this channel. In 2019, I think 2019, yeah, I think it's 2019, mid 2019. Tarkov was the main game for twitch.tv/retrap. It's the only thing that I play in the channel. Like, I didn't draw. I know. Like, drawing was rare back then for me. Like, all I did when I pressed start streaming is immediately go to Tarkov. That was how the channel was back then. And the game was brand new and not really new, but like not a lot of people know about it still. So it was good. The performance was good because it's not chunked with player base filling up the servers and shit. So the server is really stable back then, and I just love it. Especially because I may or may not have a little bit, fire weapons is sexy, in my opinion. So I kind of Tarkov is a gun porn, straight up. Like, the amount of details that they put in that game for gun customization, when in terms of like, customization, looks, sound, animation, everything's just so good. So yeah, I love Tarkov so much back then. I think I put so much money in that game just to support the devs at some point. Yeah, I know. Drawing was not used to not be a normal thing in this channel. It used to be just like once in a while. It was weird. It was weird. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. What? Retrap plays games? Yeah, it was fun. Tarkov was really fun back then. And then they got so popular thanks to the Twitch rivals and Twitch event thingy, where most of the big streamers got invited to play the game and stuff like XQC, Shroud, and stuff. The game got so fucking popular. Like, I think they grew 5 times in term of like popularity, which is good. But apparently the server was not ready for the fucking hype. Like, I think majority of gamer immediately starts playing Tarkov and the servers just start eating ass. Everything just start disconnecting. If you have a shitty internet, good luck. Including me. I don't know, it suddenly become unplayable for me, unfortunately. And then I stopped playing. So that kind of shucks. But yeah, there was a time where Tarkov was my baby. I loved it like my own daughter. But it's all gone, man. It's all gone. Thanks to one sin. Huh? But I'm down to give Hunt a try. Could be fun. Could be fun. It could be fun. You call. I'm kidding. I was joking. I was joking. He doesn't know chat. Oh shit! Wait. Hold up. Where's my food? Forgot I ordered something. Oh shit! He's already in front. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. 1 second. Food is here. Right back. Alright. We'll eat later. You just hate it when your coffee is too sweet, so it doesn't taste like coffee anymore. The hell, man. What's your dinner? Oof. Um, what's it called again? It's a steak. It's not some fancy steak. It's just some steak. Like not super fancy. Not fancy. I just decided to treat myself a little bit. Some meaty meats. I like some meats. I should not say that out loud. Does it taste like a tofu? What? Huh? Hmm. Okay, what is this song, man? Okay, dun, 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 dun. Mm-hmm. What you guys had for dinner or lunch? Depending on where you at, obviously. I know it's not even dinner yet for some people. You also have a steak? Oh shit. Or maybe even better, rice chicken? Hub hub hub. Love me some rice chicken, dude. Rice chicken is the best. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, why is this so scary? Early ordering fish fast food restaurant. Ooh. What is that clip, man? Ah! Dude, I bet 90% of the fucking clip in the Discord channel, the clip channel is filled with this kind of clip. It's like my words taken out of context. I ate home cooked food by your mom. LOL! Good one. What you got though? What you got? What kind of home cook? What's the cooking though? Out of context. It is out of context, motherfucker. No one wants to smell what Rat's mom is cooking. What? What the Rock is cooking. Mhm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. 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 Jesus. The hell is wrong with my throat? If you get a short look and I need to leave, don't betray. Alright, dude. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you around. Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye. Kind of hungry though. I need probably just because I smell a fucking steak. Holy shit! It smells so nice. Okay, my fucking throat's dry as fuck today. I need to drink a lot of water. I'm thinking about buying one of those bottle, which is like fucking gigantic. It's like 2 liters or something like that. That I can drink for the whole day. Like, you know what I mean? The bottle that's designed for you to keep hydrated for the whole day. I forgot what it's called. It's like, I don't think there's a word for it. Big bottle so you chug it down in one go? No, that's not the fucking point. The other way instead. To keep track of your hydration. You know, those one that have like fucking, you know, measurement. Okay, what's those things? Also, what's up, Niku balls? Balls. The one for baking purpose? That I guess. But the one that I'm talking about is that it has like more of a timing in the measurements. Like at this hour, you should, by this hour, you should already drink right this amount of water, kind of thing. I saw it before. It's for people who sometimes forgot to drink water a lot. I sometimes don't notice that I haven't drank for hours at all. Like my throat just suddenly got so fucking dry. Like, oh shit. It's kind of not good. A good feeling. It's not that common though. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. How you doing, by the way, though, Nico? What's up? What's up? Okay, what is this song, man? What the fuck? Day's fine. Leg dead though. Oh, leg day? I assume. Oh, it is leg day. Okay. Rest it up. Rest it up. You deserve it, man. You deserve it. Leg days always hits hard, but it's always mandatory. It always needed. Leg day for the win. Oh. Right, use an IV drip, then you won't be dehydrated. Listen, that's the point. I do not want to use it if I don't have to. That's the point of the whole thing, but also, what's up, you? Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Boom, 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 boom. Figuring out shadows is always the most difficult thing, man. Hello, good morning. Good. Install back Division 2. Oh, shit. Yeah, I think I saw you. I didn't stop by, though. But I did saw you were playing Division. What's the occasion? New update? Hi. Hello, Chili Dog. Welcome. How you doing? And boy, welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Jesus, this song is getting me exhausted. Bum 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 bum. Good, you? I'm chilling, just drawing. Well, more like shading right now. Shading area right now. And thinking about what else to play after we played all the horror games for today. By the way, as you guys can see, the title is Spoopy Saturday. You know what that means. I get some good horror games for later. That's right. Oh shit. Oh shit. Not yet, but devs kind of give some Division streamers some hint on upcoming event and such. Plus Division BR coming this year, so not sure how it's gonna be. Division BR? I never heard of it. Huh? Since when did they announce that? Did they announce it? Or just more like in the community announcement? Because I never really heard of it. That's later is like 3 or 4 hours later. True. Probably 3, not 4. 2 to 3 hours. Because we already kind of do the line arts, just shading and color. And lighting. give this drawing life. And booba. Are you drawing the bottom right picture? Yeah. That's probably later if I kind of finish with this one, with Rhea, for the shading. We're probably going to continue this one for coloring. Bum, 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 bum. Also, you guys can all check out all the drawings that I do here on my Twitter. I upload everything, including progress. If you want to check it out in full HD, scroll down, twitter.com/rattrap. Bada bing, bada boom. Or you can just type in exclamation socials in the chat. It's so easy. Also follow me over there, thank you. Can we see full view of this for a sec? Sure. Bam. Bam. It's not really done yet, but there you go. It's also my OC, Katie and Rain. I'm just practicing poses. The one you're drawing? Oh, this one? One sec. Fuck. I wish CSP have like a fucking overlay system. Oh. There we go. Bam. There you go. How it looks so far. It is my baby girl, Rhea. I think I draw her a lot recently. Probably need to start making reference of her. I mean like a reference image. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Would you say your drawing type is? My drawing type? I don't know. I never really thought of it. I don't know. I guess I'm just drawing whatever, you know. Huh. What's my drawing type? What is a drawing type? Style, I guess. Anime art style? Which is like very broad. Other than that, I'm not sure. Like, is there like a common type of style out there? The red part. Just easier on the eye to light it, to shading it. God damn, that's a bright red. There we go. I don't know if that's even a term. It made sense. It just makes sense to me, I guess. I think it's kind of obvious. My drawing is basically just like anime art style. But at the same time, anime art style, it's just it's so broad. Like there's so many different kind of art style in the anime industry already. But I do have to say mine's probably like casual, like not super detailed stuff. I do really like to make it more chill sometimes. Not too much, you know. Isn't that? Do you also watch anime? Uh sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't watch a lot recently, past couple years. So it's like what? Like last year, I only watched like three. It's not really. It's not really. I don't know. I don't have a good attention span, unfortunately. Ah. Now I don't watch. He research. True. I don't. I see. Well, welcome to the humble abode. My humble abode. It's kind of rare to have someone hopped on the stream and don't watch anime or not in those kind of spectrum, because most of the time people who hop on the stream usually got attracted to my drawings and I was like, ooh, weep stuff, ooh. So I'm like, yes, welcome, fellow weebs. Mm-mm-mm. Listen, Yua. Everyone do their own research, okay? Can blame me for this shit, man. I'm pretty sure you also do your own research. Oh shit. And thank you, Chili Dog 7409 with the follow. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. Just thought you're that talented. Thank you. I'm not though. I'm average at best. Super average. Omega average. Super Kika. What's happening? Then I don't know what I am. You're also talented. We all talented in our own ways. You know? Everyone's talented at something. Right. It all boils down to what do you prefer on putting shit tons of hours in, where some people would think it would be mind numbing to put that amount of hour into this specific thing, but it enjoys you, it satisfies you. So it kind of turns your enjoyment into a talent or skill. That's how I think about it. Everyone's good at something because they love doing that thing. They do it so much and now they're good at it. Became a skill set. You was good at eating ice cream? Nice. Hell yeah, good for you. I wish I'm good at eating ice cream. Dude, everyone keep mentioning ice cream. I haven't had ice cream for so long. Fuck. Should buy one tomorrow. I just noticed the cat. Yep. That's Leo. That's my boy. He's the cat in this channel that fills everyone's chat when they sub. Bam 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 ba dum ba dum bam. Buy now? No. I didn't go out, dude. I don't think you can food delivery a fucking ice cream, okay? Not going out anymore for the day. Mm, mm, Hmm. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Delivery. I mean, there's probably some, but it's probably one of those like fancy ass ice cream. I just want some fucking walls, man, or something. You know, my favorite ice cream that always never got bored of is one of those thingy. The ice cream is vanilla, like just straight up vanilla, and then it's coated with chocolate and I don't know what kind of peanuts it is. It's like chocolate with chunks of nuts coating. The you know the what do you call it? It's like a hardened chocolate covering this vanilla ice cream. And in Indonesia is like waltz uh feast. I think that's what it's called. Feast. Yeah. Magnum is I don't know why. Magnum is like I don't know. It's too sweet. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not. I don't really prefer Magnum for some reason. But I guess it's something like that. If you just Google Waltz Feast, that's the one that I always buy most of the time if I just want to get a quick ice cream. So fucking good, bro. So good, so good. Too bad we cannot eat ice cream every day, Saj. Why can we not eat ice cream every day, man? Why? Imagine a world where we can eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Holy shit. That sounds very unhealthy, but fuck. I wish it is. I wish it's healthy. Goddamn. Bum bum ba da ba da ba da bum ba bum ba bum ba. Ice cream connoisseur. That's you, right here. You could? I don't think so, man. Yeah, yeah, probably not a good idea. Let's not. Yeah, yeah. Uh, oh my god. That's what a VTuber is for. You can be a cat. True. Blend your meat and vegetable and make it an ice cream. Jesus. I'm pretty sure that's already a thing. And some people probably already make that out there. But I think I'll pass. I'm good, man. Ugh. I'm good. Oh, I remember. One of those guy, I forgot his name. I think I subbed to him a long time ago. Like one of those guy who challenge himself, or I guess get challenged by some people in the comment, and he tried to eat some stuff in a weird way and shit. I think at some point he tried to blend like basically burgers and make them into a soy like porridge, and try to freeze it and turn it into ice cream. Oh my god. Ah. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that works, man. I don't think that works. Just being real here. Being absolutely real here. Don't do that. It's not a good idea. Probably. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's not a good idea. Pass, exactly. Oh boy. I think he puked as well. I don't know, I forgot. He's like, "Ugh, nope," or something. But then again, I'm not. I'm guilty myself with some really weird way of enjoying some food. I don't know. I feel like I think based on my mom's reaction of my some of my really interesting way of cooking things, I think I should not be a cook. Like if you guys know my fried rice, the rat traps fried rice recipe, some of you guys not gonna tolerate me anymore. I told Jix last time and it was like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. I have some weird shit when it comes to some of my choices in taste and shit. Oh my god. I just realized I never draw her tail. Holy shit. I never drew her tail. Okay. Thank god I remember. The fuck is this? Is this empty layer? The fuck? Enjoy fried ice cream? I think fried ice cream is a thing. Is it not? I swear fried ice cream is a thing. Ba-da-da. The 8-bit. What's up? Y'all just in time for jazz. Oh shit. What's up, Neil? Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I will make that. Please share. Okay, you guys ready? Now, mind you, this is something that I used to cook back in like junior high school, so I was like 13 or something. And usually I cook this when, my mom's away. No one's, I got home early maybe from school and I'm just hungry and maybe there's no food ready. I have to cook it myself or order. So I decided to cook this thing. So you grab a plate of rice, right? If obviously normal rice cooked, uh, rice cooker rice, right? Hot and steamy from the rice cooker is not a good idea. You want to let it dry, not dry. You don't want to let it sit out until it's not steamy. A good rice, for fried rice, is a cold rice. I think. I don't know if I'm wording this right in English. You want to let it sit out, not hot and steamy, but you want it just like room temperature, basically. And then you know fucking turn on the fucking stove, pan, bada bing, bada boom, oil, bloop, right? To coat the fucking pan with oil or butter, depends on your preference. There's also Granny's Cream's hot butter ice cream. What? Boom, bada bing, bada bam. You put the fucking cold rice on a pan, fucking stir it a little bit until it's kind of like all over the place, nice and dry. It's not sticking together and shit. And then the usual fucking soy sauce or sweet soy sauce, right? If you wanna go for my recipes, sweet soy sauce, just enough to coat the whole rice, a little bit brownish, and then this is where it gets interesting. Chili sauce, right? Usually I use a specific brand, but it's whatever. And then you just fucking dunk it in. It's really depends on how much you want. I don't give a shit. You can just dunk in as much as you want or just a little bit. Dunk in that fucking chili sauce. What kind of hot sauce? You can Google ABC hot sauce or chili sauce. That's what I used to have. Uh, Chili sauce. Yeah, it's ABC was the brand. I think it's a local Indonesian brand, but it's like basically one of the biggest brand for kitchen thingy thing, kitchen sets. I think it was ABC, yeah. Right? Okay, okay. Now, I kind of only have sriracha chili paste or just sriracha hot sauce. I don't know about sriracha. Never had it in my life. It's not a thing here in my region, so try it out at your own risk. Now, you stir it, right? Bada bing, bada boom. Your fried rice gets a little bit reddish. Depends on how much you put in there, but I do like my fried rice a little bit spicy, right? Oh, don't forget green. Was it called green onion in English? Hold up. This song is so intense. Jesus Christ. Green onion. I think it's called green onion. Yes, spring onion, scallion. There we go. Scallion. I don't know what it's called in English for a second. Scallion or spring onion. Depends on how you call it. Very essential. Delicious with fried rice is just, I don't know. Fried rice without scallions, it's like PB&J without the bread. I don't know. Sounds so. That's not the right analogy, but yeah, it's essential. It's just yeah. No need for explanation, right? Now, this is where it gets. This is where it gets really, really optional. But every time I cooked it back then in high school, it's essential, and it's the one that makes it. The whole household cannot eat it but me. You pull out a fucking mayonnaise. You pull out either a jar of mayonnaise, get like 2 3 spoon of mayonnaise, and a fucking dunk it in there. That's right. Now, some of you guys might think, wait, what? Excuse me? What? That's also my mom's reaction. Back then, I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Mayonnaise? What's up, Zay? Hot woman coming to my house. Oh shit! Good shit, man. But yeah, mayonnaise, 2 3, maybe 4 if you're there. Dunk it into the pan and just stir it. Most likely, your fried rice gonna be a little bit, just a tiny bit glossy and a tiny bit sticky. This is like around at the end of the cooking. You don't want to, the moment you poured the mayonnaise into the pan and stir it around, you don't want to cook it too long. You want the glossiness, you want the wetness of the mayonnaise. Like half cooked, basically, the mayo. So the moment you stir it for like 10 seconds and then turn off the fire. Bam, turn off the stove. And stir it on. Keep stirring. So let's just coat the whole thing. And then you're done. And that is, after that you can add eggs, whatever the fuck, tomatoes, your choice. But that's basically uh Rat Trap's fried rice. I haven't cooked that for so long, but I probably gonna try it again sometime soon, and I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna like it. I am almost certain. Red avocado is better optional choice for me. I don't know. I never tried avocado and fried rice. Maybe because it's not a Southeast Asia thing. But maybe in the future I'll give it a try. I'm down. Sounds interesting. But yeah, I have a very weird palate for my taste bud. I know. And I have a really low tolerance of food restriction. So this is very subjective. I basically don't like food. Anything you give it to me, I most likely don't complain. Even if it's a house cooking or your fucking friend cooks, I don't. I have almost zero complaint. I can eat anything if I want to or if I have to. I do have preferences, but I have a very high tolerance on eating anything. As long as it's not fucking straight up disgusting, okay? Just like it's as long as it's edible, I'm down. That's my mouth rules. So maybe that's why when I discovered that shitty ass ingredients, I was like, ooh, this is I. And back then in high school, I was like, this is like the time where I don't really cook a lot yet. I start cooking a lot like up to like senior high school, almost college. But before that is like just shitty ass high school. Does a high school kid doesn't know shit about cooking and just trying it out. Trust me, chat. If you guys have a high tolerance of weird ass fucking recipe, give it a try and thank me later. Mm, mm. That's right. That's right. You, Nell, try it for dinner tonight. You're welcome. You're welcome. I am almost certain that you will like it. Mm-hmm. Maybe. If someone dies of poisoning, do not call me. Do not add me. Shit. Okay, I think that's too curly. Shit. You're with everything, even foods cooked with the sour Chinese herbal stuff? Bitter Chinese herbal stuff? Like what? Chinese food is not my it's not my forte, so I don't know much about them other than the most popular one. But I don't know much about like very specific Chinese food. But I do eat them a lot because there's a shit ton of them here in Indonesia. But probably if we're talking about like Chinese food, like probably like the popular ones that I really like is probably Kung Pao chicken. Oh my god, dude. Never get bored of it. I swear to god. I think that's how you pronounce it, Kung Pao. Never get bored of it. It's such a simple cooking, but it's just so good. It fits in taste bud. Mm. Mm. Okay, what is this song, man? Ah, there we go. I don't know about the specific name of the herbs she used. All I know, she bought them from a nearby Chinese tea shop with mixed ingredients. But it tastes the bitterness is strong when it mixed with the ingredients. Or I mean, when we mix with the food, because I never really had that. Like, never really complained about the bitterness of some food. I don't think so. Then again, I'm not a Chinese food connoisseur. I don't know a lot. Ye just have a lot of Chinese food restaurant around. But usually I ordered like same old, same old. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Yeah, quite bitter and can be very bitter, especially if it's normal soup or sweet soup. Kung Pao chicken is one of the best food she made too. Oh, God bless. Kung Pao chicken is fucking nice, dude. Talking about it makes me want to eat it right now. Fuck. She doesn't remember the name, she just remember how to cook them. You just asked her. Thank you, Nell Mom. I see, I see. Then again, most Asian food ingredients are like very sometimes very specific, but there's so many variety of them, right? So depends on where you live, or depends on where your culture of your region. Even though you live in Asia, it's always got to be a little bit different, similar but different kind of thing. And that's what I think what makes Asian foods just so much variety of them, and it's nice. Sorry, I kick off your stream. No problem. No sweat. No sweat. We chillin'. We chillin'. Just talking about some cultural cuisine. I miss anything after the hot sauce. Oh no. You wanna hear it? Nell, you wanna I guess? Okay, so basically after the hot sauce you pour in uh 2 to 3 spoons of mayonnaise. Yes. Into the fried rice. Yeah. But very crucial, immediately the moment you stir it in, bop, 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 10 seconds, turn off the fire. You don't want the mayonnaise to get fucking dried and cooked within the rice. You want to make the rice glossy, a little bit wet, so you can taste the fucking eggy of the mayos. And voila! Serve it to the plate. Bada bing, bada boom. You may add eggs, tomato, whatever the fuck you want. Additional fried rice is such a fucking customizable food. And there you go. Rat Trap's fried rice a la Rat Trap. Enjoy. Cook it for your loved ones at home or yourself. Enjoy, chat. Enjoy. TLDR, don't try mayo. No! Try it out. It's good. I swear. If you haven't tried it, you're missing out. I swear to God. Magma, make Rat Trap fried rice now. Go. And no DBD gameplay right now. We're doing spoopy stuff, horror, like an actual horror game. No, okay. Yeah, legit though. If you immediately get fucking, come on, just give it a try. Trust me. You guys are missing out because you feel disgusted of the combo. You're like, oh my god, what the fuck? That is inhuman. Give it a try. And after you try it, tell it to my face that you don't like it. I dare you. I dare you. Because boy, oh boy. I don't know, maybe I cooked it in a very specific manner that makes it almost kind of delicious. Maybe not. I don't know, man. But even my mom is like really good at cooking. She's like, "Oh shit, okay. Okay, it's not really my thing, but it's like I can eat this, you know." That's what she said. Okay, we need to change the playlist. The music's getting weird. Weird guh. Giga weird. Okay, that's good. Yeah, there you go. Beep 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 beep. Beep, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum. Beep, beep, bum. This one's coming together really nicely. I actually like this. Should I make it 90 instead? Let me try. Fita. Fita. There we go. Right, I've gotten addicted to SF Studio, but I don't want to buy out the trail mode for 80 fucking euro. What the fuck is SF Studio again? SF Studio. I've heard it before, but I can't recall. SF Studio. SF Studio. Yeah, can tell. Oh, the online music tool. Right. Dude, maybe I mean, it's a good thing, but I don't know about it being 100% use. Like, you know, I don't know about it being the most useful tools. You know what I mean? In terms of like you might as well try FL Studio kind of thing. In my humble opinion. Especially if you like to tweak it a lot. Because I feel like SF Studio is more towards collaboration, online collaboration. with your buddy. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. It is FL Studio. Oh, okay. What the fuck is SF Studio? God damn it, Magma. I thought you were talking about the web-based music maker thingy that Poke used to collab with the chat. Like, what the fuck? Shit. So I was so confused with that name. Wait, does FL Studio still have the fucking, the trial mode have like those lady voice interrupting your shit? It's like one of those FL Studio or some shit like that. Like, audiojungle.com. Oh my god, I remember. Audiojungle.com. Like, what's the limitation of the trial? I forgot. Because I don't use FL, I use Ableton. I used to use FL, but I transitioned to Ableton years ago. I don't even know. You can save it, but cannot reopen the save files? Oh, okay. Well, that kind of bummer. Like right now, I cannot save song to work on them later. Only get to like make a beat, just delete it later. Ah, shit. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks ass. But yeah, to be fair, it is a free trial after all. Shucks. I don't know. Maybe if you really like it, save it up and go for the standard version. I think that's enough. Definitely enough. I think Ableton. I forget how Ableton trial was. Ableton trial was like pretty fucking a little bit more accessible. It's not as restricted. 80 euro for making some music? I mean, you'll never know. 80 euros, you got it for, you goes hard with your music and suddenly, you go hardcore with it, right? You never know. 80 euro is actually pretty cheap compared to a lot of DAW out there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot how much I paid for Ableton. It hurts, man. Ableton Live was fucking expensive. Ableton was $500. And that's the standard version. There's an intro version, which is like the entrance, the beginner's version, which is $100. The standard is $500. That's the one that I use. And then I got a upgrade gifted to me from my friends. And the upgrade, the suite, which is like the premium, you get basically everything, is $750. But I got the standard version. And it was fucking worth it. Of course, I'm not going pro. It's just a hobby and shit. But I've been using it since fucking 2014, 2013, 2011. It's more than 10 years. $500 10 years. That's cheap. It worth my fucking money. It's not like I stopped after like 1 year. I still use it up until today. Like all the songs that you see on Twitter and Instagram that I fucking jam with, all those use Ableton. I also do a lot of music producing that I never really upload anywhere. And all those use Ableton. The same exact thing. So yeah, it works out, man. Bloody bought Renoise for breakbeats and jungle music making, but I'm still lost in the tutorials. What is Renoise? I thought you were talking about Reaper for a second, but Renoise. Oh, it's another DAW. Wait, is this related with Reaper? Or is this different? Never seen this, I'm gonna be honest. Renoise. Damn, it looks very old school. The UI kind of reminds me of Winamp. Kind of sexy. Maybe it looks a little bit like Ableton, but a little bit more old school. Kind of dope. Oh my god, anime titties. Yes, welcome. Balooks. Do you have Bandcamp? I want to burn my money. No, but I do have SoundCloud that I upload every once a year. But most of them are like guitar and vocal. I don't really upload my EDM anymore. I used to do a lot of electronics. Like I do techno and house. But I don't really upload them anymore. I go through with a different alias back then. I didn't really like it, and I just don't really continue on that. But it was right. I did a small EDM cover of. Let me show you. I did a schmoll, very humble cover that probably still able to review it in the future or redo it. By the way, it's on my YouTube channel. There you go. Click it up. You can check it out. Thank you. Still a bit scuffed, not very well mixed, but I kind of like it. And I put my cats, my apartment cats, in the video. The bass is very muddy. Sorry. And that's it. I used to go hardcore with it, but it's not really like going crazy and stuff. And then the rest I just do more of a very just straight up my guitar and shit. or just like this. I can't hear the
Stay forever, you know more than anyone. Yeah, whoa, and it's you that knows my darkness, and you know my bedroom needs. You could blast me and my secrets, but there's probably just no need.
Yeah. And sometimes also like to go a little bit metal. This is so old, by the way. Not like old, it's like 2 years ago. Self-promoting, let's go! That's all. All right, you get, yeah, you guys, you get the gist. You get the gist. You check it out on YouTube.
Exclamation YouTube, or you can scroll down, panel down below. Thank you. Subscribe.
You can watch the rest there. But yeah, I haven't really done a lot of electronic stuff. I do more of just straight up guitar stuff. I've been improving and practicing my guitar a lot lately. Like one of my proudest one was probably the one that I uploaded to the Twitter. All right, one last, because I was really proud of this one. It's such a hard song to nail. I'm gonna be honest. Not like insanely hard, but like took me like a good couple days to just nail this very short riff. Let me see. Just gonna capture the LC one, cause video one, cause the Twitter's fucking bullshit with quality. Damn. Okay, VLC fucking broken. Okay. You know what? Boom. Okay, you don't really, okay, I don't need to full screen it, but I love me some prog metal, dude. So nice. It's a very weird genre in metal, but I like the technicality of it. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands there. And there you go. It's basically what I do with my music stuff. Not a lot of fancy EDM anymore. I used to, but I don't know. I my guitar takes a lot of my time because, man, practicing guitar takes so fucking long, dude. It you really have to be patient when you're practicing guitar. You just gotta put a lot of effort into it. And yeah, ever since then, I've been sticking with it. Sorry, EDM fans. Turn around and die. What? The doggy mode. Shit. But yeah. You can check those out on YouTube and SoundCloud and Twitter. Most likely, I just upload everything on Twitter. I only upload the good ones on YouTube and SoundCloud if I really care about them. Not, I just upload everything on Twitter. Because why the hell not, you know? You know? No, okay. Siege. Siege. Hmm. Um, um, um. I should probably do more EDMs. I should probably do more techno stuff. Sometimes I kind of miss it. Every time I open my Ableton, I was like, maybe I could give it another go. Maybe, maybe. You know what I really want to try? Drum and bass. Never really tried it properly. I think I made a couple songs in terms of like drum and bass, but I never really go through it. Like I like to listen to it, but I'm not really a big fan of making drum and bass. Usually I'll just go with house or techno when it comes to music producing. Like it's very dead mousy. Like ah, this is a little throwback. I leave now. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. This guy, Deadmau5, Joel Zimmerman, single-handedly kickstart my passion on making music. He is this song specifically made me download it. Uh, I think it was FL Studio free trial. This song, I was like, holy fuck, this song is so good. I think this song is the one that kickstarted my passion on making music, electro stuff. Hello, Jix. It's Strobe, man. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone who listened to like EDM in general respects Strobe. It's probably one of the oof. It's just a classic. It's a classic. It has everything as well. How you doing, by the way, Jigs? You know, I felt pretty lucky with how my passion for learning music making, because my inspiration was some hardcore dudes. Like for EDM, it's probably Deadmau5, Daft Punk, um, Atlas, uh, who's the frontman of Nine Inch Nail? That guy. Uh, Reznov. Reznov. Reznov is fucking metal, by the way. Uh, who else? Yeah, most of them, basically. The old man's of EDMs. But 70 to 80% of them are Deadmau5, Daft Punk inspired. Good. Noise. Good to hear. Good to hear. Really cannot play Deadmau5 song in a low volume. You really gotta turn it up a little bit. Pendulum is pretty good. That's true. That's true. Apex Twin, of course. I'm sorry. Of course, my bad. Not a huge influence, but they're one of the respectable. 100%. Rock Biv, oh boy. What am I hearing? Instant classic. Glitch Mop, holy shit. I almost forgot about them. Oh, that's such a throwback. Holy shit. Oh, here comes the best part. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit more. Holy fuck. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god, dude. Ah, such a throwback. Holy shit. When was this song released? 2010. Oh my god. It's 12 years ago. Holy shit. I think Pendulum Vocalist also collabed with Deadmau5 or Ghost and Stuff, which is like basically his magnum opus. I think Ghost and Stuff is basically his most popular song after Strobe, I would say. Like I'm pretty sure everyone have heard it at some point. Yeah, man, this one is just so fucking popular. It's everywhere. I think for lack of a better name was the first album I bought it with my own money. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Good taste. Good taste. Do you know 65 Days of Static? No. I think this is my first time hearing them. Oh, let it come, let it take your hands to do it. Oh, the melody is so catchy. It's not my favorite, but it's still so good. It's just the melody is so catchy, dude. Just wanna play it right.
Gonna get that tonight.
Stop. Bum 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 bum. Womp womp. Mm. They make crazy good, not exaggerated, instrumental post rock with EDM elements. Ooh. Hold up. We're gonna check them out after this. Hold up, hold up. Oh my god. This is the kind of songs that I like to make a lot. The techno house. I know it's. This is the type that kind of grinds my gear back then in high school. Oh my. This is like the more less popular Deadmau5 stuff. Oh. Justice? Oh, top notch. Yeah. Oh my god. Dude, if DJ set was not so fucking overpriced, I would probably, you know, perform at some point back in the day. But holy fuck. DJ set is fucking expensive. It makes me cry, dude. I remember at that time in high school, me and my friend, who's also passionate about electro music making, producing, that we sometimes once every few weeks we go to this studio that rents the DJ set every hour per hour thingy. We're just like practicing, DJing. I still remember that. We even still do it up to like college time, but like very rare. It's really fun. Boom, 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 boom. God, I remember this old stuff, dude. FN Pig. Oh, this is another good stuff. This slow build up, dude. I'm in love. I love slow build up so much. I think that what makes me a big fan of Deadmau5. His intros are fucking sexy. You can try Wrong Shape of 65 Days of Static later. What is Wrong Shape? Is this a song name? Let me see. Okay, got it. It's gonna play after this song. I added to queue. Woof! Oh my god, shivers. Shivers, bro. Here it comes. Ding, 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 ding. One of the best melody of all time. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just cannot help to bump up the volume when it comes to this kind of songs. Or if it's too loud. I wanna fuck my ear. Okay, that came out a little bit different when you say it like that. Alright, calm down. But yeah, you're not wrong. Like, usually. Hold up, I gotta turn it down a little bit. Like, usually, like right now, this is like around here. Usually, I would bump it up like around 80% when I listen to this kind of music. But I want to be able to hear myself if I. Only did off stream. God, I got a lot of flashback just from listening to this. Holy fuck. I think I haven't listened to this song specifically for more than I don't know, almost 10 years probably. Because I bought the album when it launched as well, when it got released, day one. And this is pre Spotify. So getting songs were a little bit more exclusives back then on day one. God, I remember back then. I don't have like one of the fans. Like I have like a very basic speaker, like one of the speaker that you buy for like 30 bucks, like some very cheap brands and shit. And it doesn't really go that loud and stuff. And I used to like go to this one friend house, a fellow, EDM enjoyer, right? And he was pretty rich. So I got one of those fancy ass fucking Harman Kardon. I forgot which type was it back then. And a whole set of like bedroom setup audio. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say audiophile level, but it's like some, he got some money to shill up. So he got like one of those fucking high quality stuff for. He's a raver. He's not really like an audiophile, but it's like he likes to rave. So like if I listen to Deadmau5, Daft Punk, he would listen to Swedish House Mafia, Axwell, David Guetta. you know, it's a little bit more of those sites, those rave house or uh big rooms stuff. I'm more of a Deadmau5 stuff. Ooh, a little bit more house techno. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Ooh. Get a cringe. To be fair, some of David songs are pretty good. Like, one of my favorite one is still fucking Titanium or I forgot what it's called. But it's not my, it's not the day. Yeah, I don't even, yeah, you know what I mean. He only have like eh good stuff, and most of those good stuff because he collabed with like a very very beautiful vocalist. Like Sia's voice is fucking angelic, dude. Her voice, holy shit, melts me down. Fucking love Sia. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, far away. You know? Whoa, whoa. Oh my god. This is very raw, dude. Holy shit. I can hear the sign shape. Holy fuck. They got the Apex Twin. But a little bit more post-rock, like you said. God, this is some fucking raw shit. Been a while since the last time I hear this kind of stuff. Yeah, that has a tons of cool tunes. Do you know what you're talking about? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but some of his songs are just boring. Like I can name a few that I really fucking love. One of my favorite is the one with Kid Cudi. On the crazy thing I did tonight. You know, one of those stuff. Hey, hey, boop, 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 boop. What is it called again? That's a fucking jammer, dude. I think that's what David, right? David Kid Cudi. Memories. Yeah. Oh my god, this is throwback. All the shit I did tonight. Then again, I'm a fan of Kid Cudi, so I don't think this is because of David. All the shit I did. You take the worst one? What do you mean worse? Dude. Memory from me. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, this song's so groovy. It's so fucking basic, but it's so fucking catchy. If you think this is a good Guetta, I don't know. I don't really listen to Guetta religiously. That's the thing. Like, you know, back in the day, his songs always pop up in radio. And you will hear like Titanium, and you will hear stuff like Remember, you know, or Sexy Bitch, or what else? What's a good classic that everyone listened to? What else, chat? Give me a Guetta song that's really out there. My biggest bruh. What's up, Hadian? On the dance floor. What the fuck? Okay, never heard of this. She Wolf. What's that? Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Okay, let's see. Oh, I know the song. Okay, I'm gonna really say, in this song and Titanium, Sia hard carry. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be honest. I oh my. Like the melody is beautiful, but if you just listen to the song without the vocal, I don't know. Like a wolf, a predator, and like a baby in a love lights. Me. Oh my god. Hungry for that flash of mine. Into my knees, yellow eyes, falling to pieces. Woo! Oh my god, I'm fucking. Yeah, this song is a fucking jammer. Some of those just Sia would be boring as fuck. Well, yeah, no shit. Now, this stuff, I'm not really into. But it's a jammer. But it's not really my, this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Not a big fan. So, yeah, I'm not really into the hype super. I don't know what's the genre for it, for like David Guetta. What's his genre, chat? Hard carry. I don't know. The only reason I like this song is the combination of very elegant, the classic gem from David that just want to make you dance, and see I got a weakness with very high control voice like Sia. Yeah, this part I'm not really liking it. It's too whoop whoop for me. But it's still jammers. Like you would be lying if you don't jam to this song. It's really hard to not jam to this song, dude. I mean that's lacking in the end, that's true. Like saying stay the night of Zed without Zed would be boring. Hayley Williams has great vocal. True, true. Then again, like I said, I have a very weird attachment to uh vocalists that have insane control on high pitch. Matt Bellamy, Sia, uh fucking Tom York from Radiohead. Those people turns me on. What? But yeah, like I don't know, man. Their voice is different. I'm just saying. I'm being honest here. Straight, just complete honest. So it's just that very specific. I remember I also like Zed, but Zed for Zed stuff, I do prefer. Uh, I do prefer his old stuff compared to the nows, the recent ones. Uh, like there's some good stuff. Like beautiful now was like addicted to a memory. Ooh, this one. The melody is beautiful. Very good chord progression. We can be. Dee 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 dee. Addicted to a memory. Oof. Memory. Oh my god. I haven't listened, although I do realize, like, I haven't listened to this kind of songs for so long. It's been really long time. Mm. You know what else turns you on? Your mom. Ooh, dab 'em. One thing I really like about Zed is his breakbeats stuff. Like back then when he just blew up with the fucking Clarity song, uh the one thing that really gain a lot of attraction from Zed is that Joel or Deadmau5 like shout him out about how really technical his songs are, and I just like go through his his YouTube stuff, his personal blog about how he make his song, because he's a classically trained, apparently, that just happened to really like EDM stuff. So he got some really, those fancy as classical music, very well trained, and then he applied it into EDMs. So the music sounds very like that. There's some classical music influence. Alright, now I'm gonna show you one of my favorite from Zed. This is such an old school stuff. Ooh! Get those breakbeat stuff. I don't know if that's called breakbeat. I don't know. It's like the glitchy melodies. The format of the song is very 2010. Mwah. Hmm. But yeah, this is such old school stuff. I don't really listen to this stuff anymore. Even make Zelda mix as well. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum bada bum bada bum bada bum 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 bada bum bada bum bada bum bum. And then the build up. Dig 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 dig. And drop. Oh my god. 2010, man. What a good time. When we're most music producer in the EDM genre have like those 1-2 formula. Intro, chill, introduce a lot of instrument, and then breaks, and build up, and then drop, and then repeat. Oh my god. Good time. Bum bada bum bada bum bada bum bum. Ba 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 ba. Holy shit, I'm hungry, dude. It's not quite done yet, but what do you guys think? Looks pretty good. Still haven't add some lighting and stuff. I've been drawing for almost 3 hours. Jesus Christ. Alright. Let me eat and then we game in, okay? Some horror games are waiting. Ooga booga. Deeper shading in few places. I just want to take the good lighting so it makes the selfie a little bit more pops up, you know what I mean? E D. Oh wait. ZELDA. Should make the hoodie tighter, the booba kind of loose. I think that's the point though. At least based on the reference. Not here anymore. Oh, dubstep! Oh yeah, the wub wubs. Dude, that's such an old school dubstep. Holy shit. Actually, though, I'm gonna be honest. I used to actually enjoy a lot of Skrillex. Not like a whole lot, but some of his songs are actually pretty fucking good. Although, of course, I kind of enjoy them in a different way. I don't know. I feel like dubstep is like one of those genre that you kind of enjoy in a different way. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't listen to a lot of dubsteps, but there's some good ones that I really, really appreciate. You calling dubstep old school makes me cry. Okay, okay. Within context, like right now in this current year, dubstep was not a brand new genre. Come on, I'm not comparing it to like you know, fucking the Rocksmith or Nirvana, kind of old. I'm talking about EDM. I'm sorry, boomers in the chat. That's not what I mean. I'm kind of boomer as well. Okay. Oh boy. But yeah, at the time, I mean, Monsters and Sprites was really fucking nice, and it was a change of pace. It was a change of pace. Okay. EDM is way older than Skrillex. Yeah, but let's be honest. I would never really listen to Skrillex, to dubstep, if not from Skrillex. That dude really popularized the genre. I would probably never really like, check it out if not because of him. That's what I meant. Like I get it. A lot of people kind of, fucking hate on Skrillex, but dude deserves it. He really brings, you know, the genre into the wide audience, in my opinion. MF Doom was the first to make dubstep. What song? I'm not a huge MF Doom. I know some of his songs, but what songs are you really specifically talking about here? I would be choking you right now for those words if I could. For what? Saying Skrillex cool? Mm-mm-mm. Many things. Although I'm not really a big fan of Skrillex either. I only listen to like not one or two, six, seven. You know, uh, like if I browse through Skrillex right now, real quick, hold up. Mm, let's see. Holy shit! Most of his new songs are I never really heard of it. The fuck? I remember this. Oh. Womp, 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 womp. Yeah. In the world, I want to eat your heart, though. Does anyone remember the song? Oh, I want to eat your heart. Everybody in the world, whoop! Oh my god. Oof. Hold up. I'm chewing. Oh shit. I remember now. Oh, I remember this song so much. The melody. His beats in Special Herbs Volume 1 are quite similar to dubstep, said some dude when he was high. People FR, people FR. What other music producer that's really was really good at that time? We got Dead Mouse, we got Zed, we got Skrillex. Who else? Oh, Knife Party. I remember them. Centipede. Anyone? Boss Mode. Oh my god. I got hooked with Knife Party for a little bit in high school. Who was Knife Party? You'll see. Mongagiga. I think one of their popular songs are Centipede and Internet Friends. Yeah. Centipede. Ah, yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Centipede. Ah, brings back. Really does brings back. It's like one of those wubba lubba dub dub shit. Dude, I it's kind of weird that you stop listening to certain songs at a certain age. Like this kind of stuff, I don't really find them enjoyable anymore. But back then, I was like, "Oh shit, man, this is the fucking shit!" Like and you just fucking shift genre sometimes. Or, I mean, of course, sometimes you don't like Daft Punk. I still really love them. But like stuff like Knife Party, I don't imagine myself listening to them nowadays. Back then, it was my bread and butter. Kill the Noise. Oh, Kill the Noise, really good as well. I was really a EDM junkie. Oh my god, I do coke. I guess I was really into those you know I don't know what do you call those? Like Zed and Kill the Noise really like to do those stuff with their melodies. I don't know what do you call those? Like it's like glitchy. Kill the noise. Imagine calling this EDM. Hey, I'm not biased, alright? Technically, this is EDM still. It's just different side of EDM. Completely different side. Ooh. Mm. Is glitch pop? Glitch pop is a genre, right? But I don't think they're glitch pop. I don't know. Okay, this is kind of dubstep, basically. God damn it. And then, what else? What else? I'm going back in time right now. Nero! Oh my god. Everyone knows Nero, right? Or Nero. I don't know how to pronounce it. This putting me to sleep? What? The last one? This is not right. Nero is pretty good. You got me so high. I can't sail the sky. And you can tell me, telling me that you'll be sweet. And you'll never wanna leave my side. As long as I don't break these. Oh, I wasted on myself. And I still feel also wasted on myself.